Mkhwebane, I think I'm just gonna shoot from the top. Look, um, your term as Public Protector of South Africa is coming to an end. It's been rough years that you've been there, ups and downs. I would just maybe like you to begin to say, what do you think about your term? Do you think that there's some things that you've achieved? You've managed to achieve some of the things that you've wanted to achieve? And what are some of the things that you say, maybe here I could have done a bit better?
Thank you, Lunga. What I would say is that, yes, it has been a very bumpy kind of 7 years as the Public Protector of South Africa. And I would say that when I accepted the nomination from the person who nominated me, because remember when you this position, they ask for nominations. Well, you can apply. I never applied for the position, but the person who nominated me said, you know what, you are so good in being efficient, in being, a good communicator, somebody who's very responsive. It's not somebody who would delay to process anything. And indeed, when I started working there, this office is about that. Promptness, be responsive. Because people who are coming to the Public Protector Office are people who've lost hope in the system. It's people who have been rejected by the system. I mean, imagine now you've applied for your ID, you've applied for a service, and the public servants are not interested, they are not helping you. So when you come to us, we should be the ones who are responsive, assist you. And all in all, I would say I have achieved it, because again, processing more than 60,000 complaints throughout the 9 provinces with 18 regional, in fact 18 offices all in all, and getting 3 clean audits. First time in the history of this institution. I would say I have achieved that. And what I would have done more better, I would say, is that being more possibly focusing on making sure that we create more ambassadors out there, in the sense that we focus on communities, taking responsibility, like empowering communities from the beginning, because that's one of the pillars of my Vision 2023, pillar number 7, which, pillar number 8, which says making people to be their own liberators. So whether that we've achieved, I don't think I would have, I have managed to achieve that. I think we should have worked more with communities, young people, students, to be their own public protectors in each and every family home. I was clobbered with personal costs in the Reserve Bank matter. I remember Mkhwebane Dlamini saying, you know what, this judgment is showing Uguti during the slavery process, or during, when there was slavery, they would then deal with you when now who's trying to be, you think you know a lot. They then either kill you in front of the other slaves, or they just beat you to such an extent that they show others, go to you dare do that. Unfortunately, then that's how I would then say they are trying to show the other kind of black excellence or professionals that you must toe the line.
So you're saying basically the issue of personal cost against you is basically based on saying those who want to stand against the system that you're speaking about, showing them that you did do this is how we're going to basically
deal with you. Definitely. I mean, if you remember, Mkhwebane even asked the Council for Reserve Bank, but you're busy saying the Public Protector, a mad met with the president or met with the state security. Let's speak about the money, which the interest which is finding ukuthi the Reserve Bank is owing, or that money, injalo Bank of Absa is owing. Why can't we talk about that? So it's an issue of diverting and not making sure that we deal with the true issues which would empower and the oppressed and the marginalized. So for me, Lunga, I take it Guti. Unfortunately, I've been used as an exemplary. So it depends on you, who are the younger generation. What do you learn from this process of mine? For me, I'm standing for the young girl now who's going to university and who must know Uguti, when you believe in something and when you do it with love and passion, no matter what they do to you, stand for that particular truth.
Mkhwebane, talking about that, I see you're speaking about judges, and there's a lot of commentators who've been coming to say that believe that report, when it came out, did you believe that there was going to be any findings against the president, or you also predicted that once I'm removed, then I know that this issue will just be...
You're correct by saying, yes, I was suspended for those 31 questions. Remember, I announced on the 8th of June 2022 that we've received the complaints, because normally when such things, a political party will say, we've lodged a complaint, then we'll receive questions from you as journalists. PP, can you comment on this? And then we decided with the communication team that, okay, let me just issue a statement and acknowledge that, yes, we've received the complaint, we will be investigating. And by then, the process had already started, where the speaker had informed the president that, no, since the Concord judgment, that the proceedings can continue for the hearing, just informing the president. But our argument is possibly she was gaslighting the president, which now you can suspend. And the Section 194 provision in the Constitution says after the commencement of the proceedings. Yeah, and the proceedings already have not commenced. So I was suspended for that. So coming back to your question, Uguti, well, I was suspended for the initiating the investigation, and the Western Cape High Court was very clear. It was vindictive, retaliatory, illegal suspension, and that, I think you remember the judgment. Now, when the preliminary report or the discretionary notice, when I was there, we used to call it a discretionary notice, preliminary, where if we don't have any findings against the person complained of, we then issue you a complainant, like what they did, issued the complainant, the ATM, a discretionary notice to say, we've investigated and our preliminary findings are like this. If you don't agree, give us more information or evidence. That's what they did. So you remember it was all over the news and the papers and whatever. And when I perused it, to me, I then saw, there are no findings against the president. And it was not a surprise anyway when the report came out the way it did, because if you must issue a report with findings against the president, they were supposed to have then considered all the evidence and then go back to the president and say, no, but according to the new evidence we have, and especially there was that Judge Ngobo, former Chief Justice report, which said the president might have violated Section 196 of the Constitution and 34 of PRECA, and he knew about this, he should have announced and all those. There's a prima facie case to respond to. Even if Galega would say, no, we've investigated. But the fact of the matter is, a mere investigation, and in terms of Section 96, you don't even need a conflict. it doesn't have to materialize. It says a risk of a conflict, and you expose yourself, and it's for private interest. So when I saw the preliminary and the final, for me, if they indicated that, you know what, we serve the president with a Section 7(9) notice where if you are implicated, we serve it. So they never did that. So I was not surprised when they issued the report like that. I was not expecting anything different from the preliminary report.
And there's issues also with the Public Protector's Office not wanting to pay money, wanting you to continue with this thing, with funding yourself when you didn't bring yourself there, because that's what people are saying. Say it's never a thing that you brought yourself there, so the office should pay. Do you feel right now that the current president has so much power that no court of law right now would ever fight against him?
You know, one thing which was confirmed by the late Dina Jumat Peterson, I mean, she said it in those recordings that the courts are with Ramaphosa. And she even said, you know what, they are so desperate. I mean, Cyril said they must just make sure that they remove her, meaning me. I think the issue of also letting the current DPP to act and behaving the way she is behaving, because I've been asking myself, but why such kind of change in attitude and behavior? I did all this as the Public Protector. I don't know whether if she wants the position, which it's what the Western Cape High Court said. Remember, she wanted to withdraw even the mandate of Sianego and said, no, as Public Protector, we are not there. She even sent a firm of attorneys with all their directors spending money to just wanting to withdraw. And then when we were applying for Section 18, so that when they appeal our President Nabo DA, I can still continue being the Public Protector whilst waiting for the current judgment, which Econ Court is delaying to deliver. So I don't understand why do you have to treat a person like that. And if you want to be the Public Protector, I don't know whether she thinks something like this won't happen to her. Because look now currently, she issued this report. And normally our work is that my work is done by the investigators. Yes, you give them direction and guidance. And I mean, I heard she was saying, no, the difference now, there's more quality assurance. But you can't issue a report like this and come back and say well, quality assurance has been there. No matter what you do, no matter the deliberations you have. Because if they had quality assurance, this Pala wouldn't have only focused on the work, paid work, would have even considered the issue of conflict, would have even considered the behavior. I mean, a person saying, you know what, I'm a farmer, I sell, and I'm in the business of doing this. Some of my buyers are here or stuff like that. And when now you come back and issue a report and say no, a person acknowledging and you say no, it's not. So I don't understand this kind of behavior as well, also entangling herself in something like this. Because, well, these people are politicians. Maybe she's a politician because she was in the ANC Youth League. And for me, I was never a politician. I've never been serving in any youth league or whatever. I've been a person who's been a public protector. Hence, I said it's a calling. And I entered there and I said, I will represent the people, because you need that kind of a person who is not going to be saying, possibly this is my movement, I need to protect them and stuff like that. You need to be blunt, irrespective of who's being investigated. So the issue of behavior and withdrawing monies, indeed, I never brought myself there. It was because of work. I mean, imagine yourself now, you are working for a citizen. Then we do something, then a citizen comes back and say, Lunga, you must pay out of your pocket. We are not disciplining, but then we are being sued by this and that, you know, and pay out of it. How would you feel? And you are doing your work when Now you working, you want the paper to sell, you are making money.
What are you going to do next? What is your next move? Busisiwe Mkhwebane, former public protector. You are done with these issues of courts and everything. What do you want to do after here? We know that your predecessor is now a professor from Stellenbosch, but what is your next move? What are you going to do next?
My work will still be working with the public a lot. I might be, serving in some offices again, fighting for the people. So I'm still weighing my options, and maybe you might find me in Parliament or somewhere. But another critical issue, which I will focus more on, alternative dispute resolution, which the work of the public protector focuses more on, and where I can help the public to resolve the conflicts, and not even the public alone. I mean, even the international or African countries, how we can deal with conflict, how can we avoid litigating, and work more in bringing that peace in communities. But also, how will I still continue helping the poor and the marginalized in the process? So it's just there. I'll just end it there.
Okay. Okay.